What's up, I'm Valkia, and this is my top 10 Pharah tips guide. If you are an experienced Pharah player, these might not be for you. They're kind of aimed at newer players to help you get on your way and become a better Pharah. Closing the gap between yourself and the target makes it much easier to play Pharah. The reason is that Pharah's rockets take a bit of time between shooting and hitting the target, so the longer the distance, the easier it is for the target to dodge it. You know, they could just move left and move right and kind of jump over it, but if it's closer, the rockets are much harder to dodge, which means it's much easier to take down who you're targeting. This is especially good versus hitscan because as soon as you get close, it takes away their advantage of range and being able to hit you from afar, and it makes it much more of a struggle for them to take you out. Another great tip for Pharah is feathering your fuel. Instead of holding down the button and letting your fuel use up, you're kind of tapping the button so you're using a bit of fuel, then it'll fuel up a little bit more, and this will actually allow you to fly forever in the air. So the technique of doing that is you'll use your boost, and as soon as you go into the air, as soon as you're about to start falling, you start tapping the button. You'll tap it, tap it, tap it, and you maintain this like a level kind of flight. You're not going to go up, you're not really going to go down, and then as soon as the fuel is slightly below half, you can use your boost again, go back into the air. That will allow your fuel to refill, and then you can do the same process over again. One of the greatest utilities for Pharah for keeping us safe is her Concussive Blast. It's something that you can use to get yourself into situations, out of situations, and also to boot the enemies off the map. Concussive Blast is normally the difference between survival and being taken out. It's a key utility when you're diving targets because it allows you to close the gap between them and you very quickly. Before you use Concussive Blast, make sure to think if it's the best course of action at that time. Instead of just randomly booping somebody on the enemy team, think about why you're booping them. If it's a Reinhardt, you can boop him out of position. If it's a Genji that's going to blade you, you can use it to knock yourself back and get out of the way, same with the Diva Bomb. Or if it's a target that's out of position, then you can use it to dive on them and capitalize on it. Something I've not really spoken about much before is sound. Sound in Overwatch is very important. Overwatch has very unique sounds, and Pharah, as a predicting hero, you need to make sure that you can try and land rockets based on what people are going to do or where they're going to be. So if you listen carefully, you can hear if somebody's about to walk around a corner, if they're flying above you, if they're about to do an ultimate, and then you can take the best course of action. For example, with a Genji blade that's about to come around a corner, you can use your Concussive Blast and get yourself to safety. Alternatively, you can get ready to shoot a rocket on somebody coming around a corner, and hopefully if you land the second direct, then you're taking them down. Another great tip that needs to be included in the top 10 Pharah tips, fairly obvious, is making sure to use the world and environment around you to keep Pharah safe. Because of Pharah's playstyle, she's normally out of different positions above rooftops and down below, but you can also use this to your advantage. Because the rocket launcher is a projectile weapon, you can go above a rooftop, shoot a rocket down to the enemy team, and be gone before they even realize where you are. Then you can reposition quickly, but of course if they see you and they start shooting, you can quickly drop down and use just the rooftop or a building as some cover so that you don't get shot. And make sure that you make it quite easy for your healers to heal you as well. This is something, so if there's an Ana, just maybe stay on the floor for a second instead of flying, just to make it easier for her to hit you, and this can help you stay alive. Fairly obvious and basic tip here, but make sure to use your rocket launcher to break the enemy shields. If you and your team focus down the enemy shields, you're most likely going to break it first, purely because of the high damage output that Pharah's rocket launcher has. And if their shield breaks and they have a team behind it, this means you're going to get really good ult charge as well, meaning you're going to have your barrage faster. It's very important on Pharah to understand which maps work and which maps don't work for Pharah. So a quick guide is, if you can get close to the enemy team without them seeing you, that's typically a good map for Pharah. However, if you put yourself in a vulnerable position where there's not much environment, no real cover, and you're trying to dive a Widowmaker or McCree or anybody else in that team, and they can see you coming from a long way away, then that's typically not a good map for Pharah. A good example of this is Ilios Ruins, because you'll see that it's kind of like a big, long stretch and very difficult to kind of navigate towards the enemy team. So keep in mind when you're playing a map for Pharah, Can I utilize going over rooftops? Can I drop down on the enemy team? Am I able to get myself to safety? And if I need to capitalize on somebody out of position, am I able to do that safely, or can they see me coming from a mile away? Sometimes the best course of action with Pharah is just to swap onto something which is better for that situation.
I'm ready for a grab, Tom, whenever. So grab him when you're ready.
One of the biggest contributors to winning games in Overwatch is communication. If you can communicate on Pharah with another person on your team who you can do a big combo with, such as a Zarya, you're going to have a much easier time in wiping the enemy team and making huge plays. So communication is key, it will help you stay alive, and overall will help your team get to the win. Pharah's Jump Jet, what I call the boost, is a utility that allows me to survive a variety of actions. It's really great for when you dive hit scans, including Widowmaker. If you time the boost for when Widowmaker will shoot, then you'll be able to avoid the incoming fire. This works on a range of heroes including Roadhog's Hook, McCree, and many more. I use the boost as a means to make it harder for the hit scans to hit me, which overall allows me to fight longer and survive. I hope you guys have enjoyed this Pharah top 10 tips guide. This is aimed at newer players or players who are a little bit rusty trying to get back into playing Pharah. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to drop a thumbs up, and if you're a new Pharah main, let me know in the comments below. I will be looking to do a more experienced Pharah guide as well, so keep an eye out for that, because there have been a load of new heroes since I've updated my guide. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Looking forward to seeing you on the next video.